All right, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Real Talk with QHT. This is George Herrera. I'm here with my wife and team member Abigail Herrera
Hey,
and my
hey.
team member Daniel Akerman,
Hello, everybody.
aka Dollar Bill Dan.
I love it.
We're here. We're just so today we're back on the podcast.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since our last one. We've been busy. Work's been busy, and the market's pretty active. So
Oh, yeah, and they
we're-
had that pandemic going on.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and,
there was that.
COVID-19 happened. So I gained that COVID-19.
So
Yeah.
prepare me here. What are we talking about today? What are the bullet points?
Well, we really want to talk about what the heck is going on?
What the heck is going on?
What the heck
Okay.
is going on right now?
Which
so
means
so many
like,
things
you
going
know,
on.
What's happening with the real estate market?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean the market, the economy, moratoriums on evictions, the New York, the flight to the suburbs. So much to talk
Oh my
about.
God, that's a lot. In 30
Yeah.
minutes, let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Let's do it.
Well, but before we start, hey,
Yeah.
how you doing today, George?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Today, what day is today? August 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
2020?
August. We're wrapping up the summer. It's 90 degrees outside. It's very hot.
Okay.
And we've been enjoying the summer, road tripping,
Okay.
Yep.
Staying safe, of course, right?
Yes, always.
Wearing a mask, being
masking it up.
responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about you, Dan? How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
How are
I'm
you and
always
Jenny?
doing great. We're doing good. We are, which we'll talk about this a little bit more later, I'm sure, but we are in the middle of house hunting.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Congrats.
exciting. And been busy. I've just been like you guys,
true.
just doing a lot of just working.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm working from home, but I'm pulling 12-hour days every day.
Ooh.
So-
So you're busy making
responsibly.
cupcakes.
That's right. What did you say? Bring you some cupcakes?
I thought you were busy making cupcakes.
No, I mean I did a little baking at the beginning of the pandemic, but I haven't had time for all that lately. It's just been, pounding the phones and talking to clients and stuff. So no,
Yes.
everything's good, and we've had the opportunity to take a couple of little road trips, like
Nice.
day long trips, which has been great. And actually, you guys helped us out with that, which was very nice.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's right.
And so things have just been it's been a good summer. It's
Yes.
different for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, make it. You have to make the best of it, I
Yeah,
guess, right?
you know.
After that quarantine month or that 2 months of quarantine, we were like, all right, this thing is obviously not going away
Yeah.
anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, and we're not going to paralyze ourselves from this. So we have to find a way to live our lives, enjoy our lives, be safe.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing, right? Enjoying the outdoors, too.
And our
Yeah.
electric bill has been huge.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Con Edison.
Yeah, I was like, why is this so big? And it's like, Jenny was like, because we've been staying inside and running the air conditioner all day. I was like, oh.
Man.
Yeah, us too. We had a 1 month where we're like, oh my God, I have to stop like coming home every day and like throwing my clothes in the washer and dryer because
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
so scared.
Abby
But-
washes and dries every day.
I mean, I did
She
do that the
takes
first
off
couple
like
months.
her whole skin and like puts on a new one.
Actually,
She's got like a zipper in the back, just take it off and put on a new skin.
you know why? In the beginning of the pandemic,
I was
Abby was
scared.
washing all of our clothes immediately after entering the house.
Hey, we never got sick,
I mean,
right?
yeah,
It worked.
That's
better
true.
safe than sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
I poo-pooed
Yeah.
it at the beginning, but we all saw how crazy things got. So
Oh, you did? You were
I did. I was a doubter.
naysayer. That's right.
I mean, I wasn't like what we're seeing right now is some people are like, give me my freedom.
Yeah.
There's this. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's an American saying, "Give me liberty or give me death." I
Uh-huh.
mean, people are literally doing that right now.
Oh,
so
my.
Oh, wow.
I was never that person,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't think that this was going to be
As-
what it turned into.
Yeah.
Wow.
At first I was like, it's like a flu, and then I changed that tune within a couple of weeks once I saw things like really getting bad here in New York. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, we've seen how crazy it is. I mean, like some of the open houses that I went to in New Jersey,
Yeah.
they were like either no shoes or shoe covers. So
Mhm.
somebody even was spraying the bottom of shoes with disinfectant.
Sure,
Mm.
makes
So
sense.
like, yeah, it totally
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's just like our team.
Yeah.
With any of our owner-occupied properties, we have a very specific protocol
Sure.
now in showing and allowing anyone to view properties.
yeah.
And yes, mask, gloves, shoe covers if it's owner-occupied. That's just
100%.
that's.
But
it's
you
okay.
know what's crazy is that it seems like the Northeast states, we all just really take it a lot more serious. It seems like.
I think we
I
had
think
to
because
because we
of
saw
what
what
we
happened
saw.
in New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other states, because they have much lower death rates,
They were like, oh, no big deal.
and even still, I think they're kind of like no big deal
Yeah.
about it. I think until death starts to actually hit your circle, then that's when you really
Yeah.
like. We started seeing our Facebook feed in the peak. We were
Yeah.
seeing this person passed away, that person passed away. That's when you know it's real.
Yeah, I mean, I had a client whose tenant, their grandfather passed away.
Oh,
My sale on
wow.
521 Essex.
Yeah.
The tenant there, their grandfather passed away
No
That's sad.
way.
in an ICU, and the family
Nobody
couldn't-
was there.
The family couldn't even come and see him.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
very
he had to
sad.
die
That's
alone.
terrible.
You know?
So what does this tell
Yeah.
everybody? For you listeners out there, please do us a favor and just be careful and just wear a mask. The rules are very simple. Wear a mask. You know, make sure that you wash your hands frequently. Don't touch your face. It's simple, and just
Yeah.
stay 6 feet away from everybody.
Yeah.
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 And it's not that big of an inconvenience,
No,
just to
it's
make
not
sure
that
that
bad.
everybody else feels better. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It really is.
So why don't we go ahead and jump right in from that morbid conversation?
Totally right. We just took that like off the deep end. Like,
On a
let's
lighter
get
note.
real dark right now.
What's the death toll right now?
No, but
No,
Yeah.
no.
yeah, no, but in all seriousness,
Yeah.
you know, obviously it's a very sad situation for anyone that has really gotten affected. And, you know, we don't want to continue to spread like bad news. We're here to just
Yeah.
give you just updates of where we are with the real estate market and what we've been
Yeah.
experiencing, give you our personal predictions, and just be here to give good information to our listeners and the
Yes.
public.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
For
So
sure.
why don't we start with what people are calling the flight to the suburbs, right? If you haven't heard of it, you're going to hear from it first.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is that we're seeing a lot of people flocking from the cities and heading into purchasing residential homes in areas like New Jersey, Connecticut, Florida, even parts of California. I'm hearing people are going over there, and that's not as common.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in California, because I'm from there, people are leaving places like San Francisco and moving, you know,
To the
out,
suburban areas
yeah,
of
to suburban
Cali.
areas outside. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Why do you think that's happening?
well, it's definitely, you hear it on the news a lot. You actually, they're talking about it a lot now, how people are fleeing the big cities, and even on Zillow and Redfin, all the search views in the suburbs are way up now. And the rental markets are getting hit in big cities. So it's a big talking point. And if we're in Queens, if we're seeing it, I mean, we're not seeing a huge exodus, I wouldn't say, but definitely we're hearing from our associates and people we know in Long Island that it's crazy out there. Multiple offers on everything. In New Jersey, which Dan has firsthand experience from,
Yeah.
they're receiving a lot of offers. And some of our friends over there and coworkers, associates, getting tons of offers. And even in Connecticut, you know, there's definitely something happening where there's people leaving the city.
Yeah.
To
I
the
mean,
suburbs.
you know, that flight might not be so pronounced here in Queens, but it's real in Manhattan. I mean, people are
Yeah.
leaving in droves, you know. I
Seems
mean, and
like
that was
it.
already starting to happen. Like, we were already seeing reports, you know, as things in Manhattan were kind of, the market in Manhattan was kind of slowing. We were seeing, you know, drops
Yeah.
in
Well, they were fleeing
They-
here to
yeah, they were
Queens.
fleeing here to Queens,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think now, you know, Manhattan is like one of those places that people are like, you love it or you hate it. And at
Yeah.
some point you get fed up and you want to leave, you know?
Yeah.
That's like the normal cycle, right? Like, oh, I've had enough of the city. I want to go find a farm somewhere or something like that. So, I mean, like you said, we're out in Jersey, my fiance and I, putting bids on houses. We've put in now 2 or 3 bids.
Yeah.
And like the competition is insane.
Wow.
Like, we put in an offer on a property where we were number 21 out of 23 offers.
And that was a full price offer you
And
had
that was a
in,
full price
right?
offer.
Yeah.
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 And we waited half an hour in line for that open house. And you know, a good proportion of the people that were there were all Manhattanites.
Wow.
That's interesting.
We're all Manhattan people, all looking to get out. You know, you're still, 30 to 40 minute drive outside of Manhattan,
Yeah.
or even through public transportation. So it's convenient to the city, but you're not living in the city. And I think, you know, there aren't single family homes in Manhattan,
yeah.
right? Like,
No,
you've got
definitely not.
maybe some townhomes, right? In the
Yep.
Upper West Side, Upper East Side, but most of it's condos and co-ops. And you're
Yeah.
living in apartment buildings, and like we were talking about before,
Yeah.
so a lot of people just don't want to be in apartment buildings anymore.
You
with
know what?
everything going on.
Maybe it's also, in just talking openly about this, maybe it's also the fact that the reason why these properties were so expensive in these major cities is because people were working in the city. That's where
Yeah,
the work is. That's
definitely.
where
That's
the
true.
high paying jobs are. And so a lot of people wanted to have convenience to their work, which was right directly in the city. And so it was easy for them to live in the city.
Yeah.
Now it's a bit different because a lot of people are working from home. And so they want more space to work from home. Even with our other team member, and our other team member, she's actually buying a property. One of her important items is to have a space of work, like a
An
workspace,
office.
Like a
an
workspace,
office
yeah, an office,
space.
yeah.
Because she can do her responsibilities, conduct her responsibilities, in her home
Yeah, like
versus in our
remotely.
office.
Yeah, right. She doesn't have to come in.
So that could be another reason. And I
I
mean,
mean,
people.
yeah, and this is one of the big looming questions as to is this short term or long term?
Yeah, I mean that's a good
You
one.
know, because for Anna, our operations manager, she's been working from home, and we realized that she's still able to do all of her job duties. She's been able to be as productive, if not more productive, at home than she was coming to the office. So we told her, even when we're allowed to go back to the office, you can stay working from home
Yeah.
because we know that she wants to buy a house. And her budget takes her to these neighborhoods also, whether it be Jersey, Connecticut, or Long Island.
Yeah.
And we said, look, go buy your house, find the property, and you can work from home, because we see now that she actually can be productive. And I think the big question is, are companies realizing that people can be productive working from home? And do they really need to be coming to the office? And are these companies going to start restructuring their workforce and even rethinking office space?
100%. I think you hit the nail on the head.
So that
'Cause
is,
yeah. I've read a couple of articles where they're that were dealing with commercial real estate.
Uh-huh.
And one of the big questions is that a lot of these commercial leases, might be changing because offices are realizing we don't need to have this many people in the office and renting so much square footage and having so many amenities for our workers.
Yeah.
Because we've been able to manage so far with people working from home. My own fiance's work. She works for a hedge fund.
Yeah.
She's a staffer for a hedge fund.
Mm-hmm.
And they had originally planned on bringing people back into the office. I think originally it was in June.
Mm-hmm.
Then they pushed it back to July. Then they pushed it back to August. Then they said fourth quarter of 2020. Now they're not expecting anyone to go back into the office full time until first or second quarter of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only reason they can say that is because they've realized that everybody's getting their job done from home. Jenny's
Yes.
been busy. My fiance's been busy. She's been working every day, 6 to 8 hours a day, sometimes more when it gets busy.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's on the internet now. You can work remotely. So I think you've hit on a really good point that people are realizing they can get their work done from home, and so
Yeah.
they want space to do that. So
Yep.
they're looking outside the city where they can get a little bit more room for the dollar. But companies are also realizing that their employees can get work done from home.
Yeah.
And so I think those things combined are adding up to a lot of, I guess, motivation or like a push to get for people to go find a home where they can work from.
Definitely. And so now, quick, real rapid fire. What's your prediction? Is the work from home economy here to stay, or do you think it's temporary and once there's a vaccine, it all goes back? We go back to in the offices.
I think that it's going to be there's going to be a percentage. I don't know what the percentage is, but I don't think it's going to be all completely work from home, because
Sure.
some I know also in speaking to other people, it's very difficult for them to work from home
That's
because
true.
whether they have children or maybe they just don't get along with their spouse.
True. Yeah.
I've been so lucky there.
Or even their workspace doesn't allow them to
That's very
focus well. And sometimes you need the camaraderie of your office mates in order to work well and do your job properly, because
Yeah.
like us, for example, sitting here together and us having our meetings in person is a bit different than having virtual meetings, or it's just a different dynamic. So I think that
Yes.
once we have that vaccine, God willing, that comes soon, then we'll start to see the shift of people coming back
Yeah.
to the capacity of what it was before. That's going to be what the unknown is.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be surprised if it was like 100%, because like
think-
we're realizing, and
Yeah.
like other industries will realize, there will be some percentage of that never comes back. That
Yes.
will always, or at least that the option will be there. You can work from home. You can work from home more often. You don't
Yeah.
have to come in 5 days a week. You can come in 3 days a week or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think for sure there'll be some bounce back. And it'll be interesting to see by how
Yeah.
much.
But definitely, I think apart to a certain degree, the world will change in terms
yeah,
of
for sure.
working from home and people actually being able to live an hour or 2 hours away and still do their work. And maybe only come in twice a week or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
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 I mean, just to talk a bit further about the flight to the suburbs, because this is a big topic.
Yeah.
I would say it's also because of the interest rates, right? Because as you're experiencing right now, Daniel, you're having
Yeah.
this 2.75% interest rate. I mean,
Yeah,
that
it's-
is
it's
incredible.
so insane.
That is
Yeah.
incredible. So obviously, people are taking advantage of the money that's available towards purchasing a property,
Yeah, for
which is
sure.
very important. And again, it's also circumstantial. People just have to make moves, whether they sell or buy. They're going to make moves each year. It's all timing for whatever your situation is,
Yeah.
right? So
But here, Abby, we can interview right here one of these, the typical demographic of the flight to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Dan, what made you decide, you and Jenny, that let's go look in New Jersey? Haven't
Right.
you always wanted to buy in Queens? Didn't you
Yeah.
want to stay here?
Well, yeah. I mean, we did everything we could to try and stay in Queens. You know, we looked at it we looked at it in 50 million different ways to see if we could make it work. We thought of buying a single family in like southeastern Queens where it's cheaper. We couldn't make that work money-wise.
Okay.
We thought of, I suggested, hey, what if we get a 2-family on a 203K loan? I don't want to get too much into 203K loans, but it's basically a loan that allows people to buy a home with 3.5% down and bundle in the renovation costs
Yep.
to bring it up to a livable standard or renovated standard.
Yeah.
So, it's a great way to get into a first-time property, because you can get something that's a fixer-upper. You don't have a lot of money. We tried to do that with a 2-family, but there was no way we were going to make it work.
Wow.
it's the
'Cause
budget, right?
It's the budget,
Yeah.
with what we had to work with, and and all the factors that we were looking to accomplish, we just couldn't make it work. And then we looked at Long Island.
Okay.
Long Island wasn't going to happen. Property taxes there pushed us out because property taxes are higher in Long Island. For those that don't know, and the other thing was public transportation, because
Oh, yeah.
Jenny needs to commute to Midtown Manhattan,
Yeah.
and it actually worked out worse in Long Island than if we were living in New Jersey.
Wow.
So process of elimination, we just ended up looking in New Jersey.
Okay.
So now what pushed us to actually buy something and buy what we're shopping for?
Yeah.
Because I think that was part of your question.
Yep.
And the honest truth is, we were originally just thinking of getting a 2-bedroom rental. Here, so I'm in a 1-bedroom. Me and Jenny are in a 1-bedroom. I'm going to boost my level here a little bit. We thought we were just going to get a 2-bedroom rental in Queens, in Astoria. And that's going to be $2,500 a month.
Yep.
24, 25, and it's not going to be the greatest apartment in the world either. It's, and that money is just money that we'll never see again.
Yeah.
Plus, you're going to have to pay the move-in cost, first month deposit, possibly a
Security.
broker fee. So you're talking, if it's $2,500, you're talking about $7,500 right there.
That's true.
So when we considered all that and we looked at a home that you could get more than 2 bedrooms, you get a 3-bedroom with a basement, with a yard, with a garage, and for a price of say $335, and with the interest rates that what they are right now, 2.75, we qualified for. Everyone will qualify for a slightly different amount depending on credit score and whatnot.
Yeah.
But for that interest, we were going to be paying $2,400 a month,
Yeah.
and that's
No-brainer.
including property taxes, insurance, interest, and PMI, the private mortgage insurance that we would have to pay because we're only putting down $25,000. We're not putting down 20%.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer. I mean, at least for
Yeah.
me it was. I had to sell her on it a little bit
Because she works in the city.
she works in the city, and she was also just, she's not in the business.
Yeah.
She's not in real estate like I am. So for me, I'm very familiar with these numbers. It makes sense to me. I understand how equity works and how appreciation works. This is all new to her. So she's just thinking as a user. She's just
That's
thinking
true.
of like, oh, I just want a space to live in.
Yeah.
So and she's thinking, oh my gosh, the responsibility of a home, and I'm going to be tied down and all that. But it's like you were saying, we were talking privately. You buy a home and you just make it work. It's
Yeah.
like when you have a kid, you might not be ready to have a kid, but you have that kid, you make it work.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true. Very true.
And same way with the home. So, and today, we've actually got an offer in on a property.
Congrats.
Thank
Yep.
you. We'll see if we get it.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to need it because, as I said, it's super competitive out there.
Yes.
We're 20 offers, 15 offers, etc. So we put in an offer of a little over ask on this property. It's a fixer-upper. And she was panicking last night. She had, she was in panic mode. She was like, I'm panicking. Like, calm me down.
Are we doing the right thing?
Calm me down. I was like, okay, let's think about this. I said, why are we doing this? We need more space. Great. So we're getting something that we need.
Okay.
And then she's like, and I asked her, what are you panicking about? She said, so much money. And I said, okay, well, let's think about that. How much were we thinking about spending in rent? Like for a 2-bedroom in this area, what would we spend? She goes 2,500.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And how much would we be spending on the mortgage plus everything else? 2,400. Okay. So it's the same as what we would have expected.
Yeah.
Right. The only difference is we'll also have to cover some additional expenses like utilities.
Yes.
And maybe a little extra travel expense because we're going to have to, do different public transportation.
Yeah.
But we're not that far off. So we can make this work.
Yeah.
And I think you were mentioning a little earlier how, Abby, sometimes buyers feel that it's just impossible, that it seems like a pie in the sky dream.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a lot more reachable than people
I think
often
that
think.
people
Definitely.
people just need to have perspective, and that's where a good realtor can assist in giving education, providing that perspective, and outlining options available to buyers
Yeah.
and equally sellers as well, to
Yeah.
what makes sense on for their plans and goals and ideas, and how can you make it happen. Sometimes it takes 5 years to plan this out, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
That's all. Just starting with a conversation and making a plan to make it happen.
Yeah.
Set a goal and then figure out how to achieve it.
That's it.
I mean, and for me, I always think if you have a steady job, good income, good credit, there's no reason why you shouldn't be owning a home. So if you have a steady job, good credit, good income, you should be on the path to home ownership. You should start saving, discipline yourself to save, and in 5 years, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to buy something.
Yep.
So it's definitely attainable. Down payment is minimum 3.5%.
Yep.
You can get a seller concession to cover closing costs. So there's really so many ways. It's very possible to buy a property.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Not to draw this out any longer, but you were saying, there's no reason you shouldn't own a home. And, in my conversations with Jenny,
Yeah.
she's like, why should we own a home? And I think that's a question that we need to answer.
Oh yeah.
And it's, I think I touched on it when I was talking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I tend to go on. But I mean,
Yes, you do.
we were talking. Thank you.
Tell me about it.
Thank you. I can leave now if you'd like. No, but I mean, we were talking about dropping $2,500 a month on rent, and you
Yes.
never see that money. You're just burning that money.
Yeah.
And when you're paying that money into a mortgage, you're paying down the cost of a property that's going up in value.
Yes.
And it's going up in value fast. I mean, right now with the interest rates as low as they are, it's going up in value faster than the interest that you're paying on it.
Yeah.
So like you live in that home for 5 years, you've made a profit on it after selling and paying a commission to your listing agent and all your closing costs.
Yeah.
So it's a way of, a home doesn't have to be a 30-year,
No.
shackle to the ground that ties
Right.
you down.
No.
It can be a stepping stone to your
Correct.
next home
Correct.
and to the next home after that. And I think that's something that a lot of times people look past or don't necessarily understand, that
That's
this
right.
is a way to build wealth. It's not
Yes.
just a house to live in.
And look,
Yeah.
in the end, the worst thing, well, I wouldn't necessarily say called the worst thing, but the alternative is if you buy a house, 5 years you're just not happy maintaining a home, you sell it, you made some money, you go back to renting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, and there's
know?
definitely some freedom with renting.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
but there's freedom there for sure because there's responsibility with being a homeowner. But how else can you turn $100,000 down payment or a $25,000 down payment into $300,000,
Yep.
$400,000?
Exactly.
That is, as soon as you cash out, it's there. It's liquid. So maybe the stock market, and then you still have to know what you're doing there. In real estate, you get the debt pay down, you get the appreciation over time. It's going to go up. So it's a no-brainer, I think. You just have to buy something, and then that's going to open up doors for all kind of other opportunities as you build your equity.
right.
So what do we think, guys? Should people be buying now?
I mean, it's in my personal opinion. If you need to buy because of you're upsizing, you're downsizing, or you want to leave the city or you want to come into the city, in the end, interest rates are low, so the money is available for you. It's just a matter of putting the numbers together and see if it all makes sense. And with the interest rates being low, absolutely, it makes a lot of sense to
Yeah.
buy right now.
I always say buy. Some buyers might be trying to time the bottom, and prices are going to be down next year. And
I mean,
I really.
they can't get much lower than what they're at right now. It's
Yeah.
the lowest in history.
Yeah. No, they might be thinking about home prices going down.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And will they go down? Maybe they do. And what, like they say, you don't know the bottom until it goes up. So you could be trying to time it, and by the time
you're too late.
and then you're too late. So I think you go. You get, if you have the down payment, you can get pre-approved, get on the hunt. If you see something good, you jump on it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he was telling me that, our first house in Los Angeles, he bought it, and it was a, dumpy little ranch home.
Uh-huh.
He was paying 17% interest.
Ooh.
That's the 80s, right?
The late 70s, early 80s. So that's like putting a house on a credit card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So he was paying 17%,
no.
and the historical average is what?
7 or
I think it's like
6?
7 or
Yeah,
8%
yeah.
over history, like in a 30-year
Wow.
period. So we're at 2.5 to 3%.
crazy.
That's nuts.
I think that could
Crazy.
be also the reason for the flock to the suburbs. It's just that people want to buy what they can afford.
I think
That's
people
all
are
that it
getting
is.
creative. I
Yeah.
think people are saying 2.5%. How can I buy something? I have 10,000 saved. Can I buy a house? And with 10,000 saved, there are places where you can buy a house.
Yeah, and
so they
actually-
might be getting very creative and exploring.
Yes.
You
And when
know?
you think about it, I mean, each year there's a spring market. Queens is always busy. New Jersey's busy. Long Island,
Yeah.
there's always busyness.
Yes.
But people are now more going towards the residential homes because the city is not currently, it's not as important because
Yeah.
people are working from home right
That's
now.
true.
Right.
A lot of people are working from until next year. But, the amenities that all these major cities have to offer are not as important at this moment. Will it come back to it? I think it will.
Yeah.
When the city starts opening once again, the cities are always exciting. There's so
When
much at your
things
fingertips.
get back to normal. Yeah, definitely.
Well, the new normal.
By
Then
the
you guys
way,
are gonna have to send me all those Manhattan buyers that I can work all those Manhattan business for you.
By the way, I have the other day I was running comps for Corona.
Uh-huh.
2 families that have sold.
Corona Queens
Corona
for the
Queens.
listeners out there.
And in the last 6 months, there was only like 4 houses that sold. Like 4.
Remember,
this neighborhood usually has like 30 to 40 2-family sales every 6 months.
Ooh.
There was so little, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of that is because of the stigma, Corona.
Well, and you remember I had the same problem because I was doing comps for a potential seller in Corona. You remember?
Oh,
Like not that long
that's
ago.
Right, that's right.
I couldn't find comps. I was like, there was only 4, and I'm
Wow.
like, they're not that similar to what she's selling. So how am I going to come up with a valuation here? So yeah,
That's
it was
very
it was
interesting.
surprising.
That's interesting.
So I think that we talked a lot about kind of where we are with the market right
Yeah.
now. And is there anything else we want to cover before?
I have one question for Dan.
Oh.
Being that you're in that demo.
Okay,
Ooh,
and then I have one thing to add too. Yeah.
Okay.
Should COVID-19, if COVID-19 never happened, would you be in the situation that you're in right now?
That's a
looking
great question.
that is a
where
good question.
you're looking.
That's a great question. So we are not, my fiance and I are not the buyers that are motivated by COVID.
Okay.
This actually came about mostly at her urging, because honestly, she just got fed up with our space. I do have a lot of stuff. I do work from home. So I have a video set up like this at home. I have microphones and stuff
Okay.
and equipment, and we have 2 cats.
Yeah.
And
And they both want their own room.
and they both want their own room. And like
That's funny.
I keep getting more stuff, and she's like, we need more space.
Mm-hmm.
So she just kind of has been getting fed up. And we had talked about this earlier in the year,
Yeah.
or maybe last year, and I kind of put a pause on it. I said, let's give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I think I put about a year timeline on it. Well, tick tock, so she's actually pushing this.
Also, it wasn't
COVID,
because of.
but
okay.
COVID has influenced what we're looking for.
Interesting.
Really?
So-
In what way?
Well, we we had originally thought about maybe doing a condo, but since I'm working so much from home, I was like, it needs to have a third bedroom. Our family's on the West Coast, so if family comes and visits, they have to have a place to stay. So that's a second bedroom. And since I'm working from home, I need a workspace. So it needs to have a third bedroom or an office because I want to take the tax deduction for that too. Which, by the way, we should mention that work from home space, if it's dedicated solely to that, is tax deductible. And there's other tax deductions available for homeowners as well, which is another great thing to be thinking about. If you're a renter right now, you can actually lower your housing costs after all the tax deductions and everything. So there's that, but that's a side note. So it needed to have workspace. So that's been kind of what's been pushing the criteria for what we're looking for. I have an elderly father who, may at some point need some place to stay. So then it becomes, okay, where does he stay? Does he stay in the guest bedroom or do we have like a finished basement where he can stay? So, as all this evolves, we're like, and then we're asking the question, can we find what we want within this price range?
Yeah.
Luckily, we've been able to. So that's
wow.
That's
Awesome.
where that's. So yeah.
That's great.
What I wanted to add real quick about what we've talked about so far is that, because we were talking about it before and we unfortunately didn't record it because somebody forgot to push record, was what
His name is Daniel, by the
Yes,
way.
well, yes, I take full responsibility. I am the F up on that one. But what we were talking about as far as co-ops versus single families and how some are moving better than others. We should talk about that real quick, not too long.
I mean, real quick would be just the fact that we've been taking a lot of listings so far this year, residential and co-op. And what we've been seeing lately is that all of our residential houses are moving.
Yep.
So the residential, whether single, multifamily, they seem to be moving pretty quick.
And some of them over asking price.
Yeah, those are, if any multiple offers are coming in, it's on residential. And what we've seen is that all of our co-op listings seem to be taking a little bit longer, little less activity, and not as many offers.
Yeah.
And we started asking each other just, what's going on? Why is the co-op market a little bit softer? And Abby gave me the same answer that Anna gave me, which was, well, nobody wants to live in a building right now.
Right.
So, that might be part of it. It might also be that your would-be co-op buyers might be part in that group going to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Since they're working from home too.
And then also the down payment. So for those of you listeners out there that don't understand co-ops, generally you have to put 20% down payment most of the time.
Yeah.
There's some buildings that offer 10% down payment, but
It's
Queens,
rare.
a lot of them are 20% down payment, which is a lot of cash up front to place. And so, with residential properties, you can put as little as 3.5% down.
And with so
And-
little interest, it's
yeah.
like, okay, I got to do this.
So there's a number of different reasons, but it's all perspective. It's all circumstantial. It's all how you look at things and what you need to do for yourself and your moves,
Yeah, for sure.
making
That's
moves.
true. That's true.
Yeah. All right. I mean, this is very productive, y'all.
I think so. We managed
Yeah.
to recover from my little mistakes pretty well, right?
So do we wrap up with some
Yeah.
predictions? What any predictions for the third quarter?
Like
third quarter.
For third quarter?
Let's say what do you think is going to happen in the third quarter of the year?
That's a good question.
We're in
I'm going to let
August,
one
so
of you
we're-
guys jump in on that one first.
I think that third quarter, we're going to continue to see more listings get placed on the market. And it'll be interesting to see the movement of those properties. So going into the third quarter, that's my prediction. More
Yeah.
properties on the market.
I'm with you there. Inventory, I think, is going to spike in the third quarter.
No, you think it's going to spike?
Yeah, due to, look at what we've been experiencing. We've been having a lot more than
Homeowners?
usual homeowners calling us, asking us, we already moved. What should we do? Should we rent? Should we sell? We already have people that are calling and just saying they want to sell. So I think there's going to be a lot more inventory hitting the market this quarter.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's good for the buyers. It's fine. We've been in such a low inventory market for so
Right.
long that I think some more inventory to hit the market is good, especially if you have buyers wanting to buy.
You think sellers will have to adjust their pricing as a result?
It all depends, if because what I think might happen in the third quarter, if there is some kind of second wave, then I think then demand's gonna take a hit.
Yeah.
And the flight to the suburbs maybe becomes even more pronounced in Queens. So that all depends. But inventory, I think definitely we're going to see more of. in the third quarter. Demand depends on how this thing plays out in New York. If we keep the numbers low, and no second wave, I think we're just going to have a healthy market with inventory and buyers trying to buy.
Yeah.
But if we get some kind of second wave or if infections start spiking, then I think you'll get more hesitation. People will be scared to buy. You know, they might get more or if the economy starts looking like it's going to go in a downward trend, then maybe you get people who take their foot off the gas and forget about buying, or maybe more people going to the suburbs. But definitely inventory. I'm with you there.
Then take their foot off of the gas to hold their cash.
Maybe, yeah. Like, I mean, we're in the same boat. Me and Abby are looking for an investment property. And, you know, we start looking at everything that's going on and all of the uncertainties. And it made us realize, I think this was a few weeks ago, we're like, you know what? We shouldn't be in such a rush to get something. If we see something good, because I'm always on the hunt, if we see something good, we'll get it. But we're going to be picky.
Yeah.
Because
You can afford to be picky now.
Right.
Yeah,
Because we're looking for an investment
and
versus
because
a primary
it's
residence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's your cash, you know. So if things get bad, if market takes a hit, if our business takes a hit, you want to have reserves to make sure that you're, you know, in a good place, that you're in a good position. So we're being picky, and that might happen more. If there becomes more uncertainty, then I think you'll get more buyers being more cautious. Right now, they don't seem so cautious.
Right.
What do you think, Dan?
Well, so I'm going to answer this as kind of a multiple choice. I think that there's a good possibility because we had a delayed spring market. I think it's going to push everything back 2 to 3 months. And I think that the buyers that are out there right now are motivated, and they're going to be normally once September hits, things calm down quite a lot.
That's true.
And that's in Queens, that's in Manhattan, that's across New York City. And I think there's a good chance that this year, because of everything that's going on, those people that are out there right now, they're motivated and they may be willing to, they may stay motivated beyond Labor Day, beyond September, and be hunting in September, October. Usually what people want to do is they want to close before the Thanksgiving holidays, before the holiday season. And I think this year people are just like, you know what? Elections are coming up. The future's uncertain. I'm willing to push and even be busy closing properties in the holidays. You know, so be it. I think that's a possibility. I think another possibility is as far as what's going on in the market, I think, you know, Queens could continue to be strong like we're seeing right now for the third quarter. But Queens isn't the only borough in New York City, and you know, you guys know that I do business in Manhattan as well. Manhattan is not the same as Queens right now. Manhattan is weak, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna continue to be weak.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be anything there. There's nothing that I can see that would make Manhattan turn around and be a strong market in the next 6 months.
Okay.
Everything there is pointing towards things remaining soft and remaining weak. Sellers have been stubborn in adjusting to the new reality and bringing their prices to where they need to be to generate offers.
Yeah.
I just represented a buyer who closed on a one-bedroom co-op unit in the West Village that was on the market for 9 months. And finally, it was listed at $900,000.
Yeah.
Then he dropped to $850,000. We got that property at $800,000.
Wow.
Because the economy had just we had just reopened stuff. My buyer was motivated, and he said, "Here's $800,000," and the seller finally realized he had to take that money. Because sellers in Manhattan that are trying to get top dollar for their properties, they're just not selling. So it's either the choice is binary.
Yeah.
You either get what you can, or you don't sell,
or you win your house back.
Or, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in Manhattan. So it's a little different than Queens, but I think Queens, you know, we're seeing a lot of strength, and I think it could continue to be that way throughout September, October.